Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Again, takes me 3 times to get on here. I don't know what's going on. At first, it didn't say, it said, well, we can't connect. Then it was live, and I circled for 5 minutes, and I said, okay, that's not going to happen. And all right. So Daria's got a tooth cavity that must have went up into her gum, and that I asked her to go to the dentist instead of the doctor. He can probably get it as if you would get a wisdom tooth. And she said, no, I got to go to the doctor. I think probably maybe it's a money issue. I know when she goes to the dentist, it costs her to get the implants. She goes to the doctor. She doesn't really ask me for money, just for the injections, and says I need a cab to go there. But otherwise, she doesn't really need it. So anyway, hopefully all is good. And I'm waiting for her to do she needs to get a CAT scan. I don't know why. And then she will get some sort of surgery that I assume will be a small hole, and they'll suck out the tooth or filling that is in her cheek, which is, I don't know. So my guess is she had a wisdom tooth or something happened. How it got up, I don't know. What kind of dentist do you have? And anyway, we'll see how that works. So hopefully, I'm hoping she'll get that soon. Tomorrow's her birthday, and then she'll be okay, and then that'll go away, and then she'll be fine. She had the flu, and she said, "I'm so tired of being sick," but I got her perfume for her birthday, which is what I used to get Jenna. When we traveled, we'd always go and I'd get her perfume as a gift. So again, tomorrow's her birthday. Supposedly having a CT scan, I assume today, and then going to the doctor, which I don't know if that's today or tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever. We will see. Anyway, so I've added ads here so I can make some money. You can tip me if you'd like. And then but I haven't made enough money, and I haven't had enough watch time to get money yet. So I'm waiting for that. But since I do this every day, I'm not too worried about it. Let's see. So gold is 29.41. It got up to 29.55. China was surprising. It really didn't go up much. And you can see the drop at 6 o'clock. It was actually 29.36. Then all of a sudden it's 6, which is unusual. It went up to 29.55. But I do notice when you see the uptick just before 10, it's going to drop because they're making it more attractive for the U.S. to buy at 29.56, and then they do the derivative, taking it down to 29.35. But if it doesn't go up, they don't do the derivative. It's only, so they push the price up. So if you're saying I'm going to short gold at 2,900, you make money. But if you can get it to 29.10 or 29.20, and then you short it to go down to, let's say, 2,900, you make money on it. So the higher it is, and then when it goes down, the better. So this is all fixed. This is all totally highly illegal. So I went to 35, and now it's back to 41. We saw 29.55, 29.50. So I'm hoping to get to 3. I really don't know why anybody in their right mind is shorting it at this point. It's not going to stay. It'll go to 3,500. That's it. And you can see silver. Oh, there's no supply. There's this, there's that. Yes, but it's still a derivative. It's still price fixed in a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme that the silver isn't real, but they don't have any silver. So they're how are you doing derivatives to short at 16 cents when the demand's through the roof? You don't have any silver, and yet you're trying to tell me it's down 16 cents. And I'm saying, you've got to be out of your mind. How can it possibly be down 16 cents? That would mean in the real world, somebody's selling and nobody's selling silver. They're all buying. So another horse shit. This is why silver's not moving. 32.30. Why isn't it 40? Because of the derivatives of the price fixing. And this is the problem of the free market to that. So let's see. So that's kind of what's happening. So at least we see gold 29.41. Now we talked about what is inflation in my title. And so we got the Montana card. And let's just say it's a PSA 10, it's 100,000. Is it 100,000 because the money is worth less, or is it 100,000 because of demand? This is the argument I have with Mark McGuire and Alligator. When Alligator can only say it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down, and he can't understand the basic concept of economics. Did this go up to 100,000 because it was the money going down, not the card going up? No, this is in the free market. There was a bidder at whatever, and then there was a bidder at 70,000, and then there was a bidder at 100,000. So did it go up because the money went down? No, it went up because of demand, because somebody in the market says, I'm going to pay 100,000. So it didn't go down because money went down. It didn't go up because money went down. It went up because of demand. And that's what's happening with gold. Gold's going up because of the demand for gold, not because the dollar's going down. Because it makes no sense when he says that, because then why would gold go from 29.55 to 29.35 if it's the dollar going down, so gold goes up? Well, the dollar's not going up. The dollar's gone. The dollar's worthless. It has no value. Why would gold ever go down with his logic? Gold goes up because of the demand, as just like the Montana card. Hey, David, this card is gem mint. This card is perfect except for a little bit. It's a little bit off center here to here, but not really noticeable. I think I can get a 10 if it's 60-40. And when I look at it, it's really, really tiny, this versus this side. Otherwise, the corners, the card's perfect. The picture's perfect. There's no creases. There's no writing on it. The back, very strong. This is like it just came out of a pack. And it took me 6 months to find it. A lot of the other Montana cards were off center. That's why a 10 is so expensive, because very limited, just like gold and silver. Yeah, that's a beautiful card. The problem is, if I go get it graded, am I going to get that card back? Would you? So let's put this to the test. You're a grader, David. You work for PSA. The professor sends you this card. You see it. You know it's a 10. You're going to grade it a 10. Are you going to keep the card because it's worth 100,000, and replace it with an 8 and give me an 8 back because it's not worth that much and you can go get an 8 and you keep the card? Or are you going to be professional and honest and say, no, this is Howard's card. Here it is. I graded a 10 and send it back to me. Are you going to give me my 100,000? This is the struggle I have with an outside grading, that I can't be sitting at his desk watching him grade it, making sure it's my card to get back. And that's where I struggle, because I have no idea. But do I trust it? Absolutely not, because I try to be safe. Everybody gets screwed. There's all these problems. So I'm going to just trust PSA is going to give me my Gem Mint Montana back. You're going to give me 100 grand. And what if I had I got to get the Mantle card. What if the Mantle card's a 10? It's a 1968, his last year. What if that's a 10? That's worth $1 million. Am I really going to get that card back? I mean, I'm not that naive. There's no fucking way anybody who gets a card and they're going to grade it a 10 is giving me back my card. It's never going to, there's no way it can happen. And I don't know enough about PSA or their security and the fact the grader is going to not switch cards on me. I do not trust that, just because of the industry we live in. It is a very, lot of theft in the card industry. A lot of people trying to put in fake cards and cut the cards and all this. It's just that element. It's like gambling. It's like Las Vegas. There's a lot of bad people there, a lot of scammers, and I just can't imagine that PSA doesn't have a lot of scammers. So I got to be careful with that. I don't know. I have heard horror stories about grading. Well, there you go. My friend said he sent in to PSA and these cards were going to be 10s, and he sent in 3 or 4 of them and he got 8s on all of them. Not even 9s, he got 8s on all of them, which makes me believe he didn't get the cards he sent in. I mean, we can tell. I can grade 4 corners, centered, no creases, no ink marks, no fingernail things. Looks like a good card. I would grade it a 10. How the hell does it come back an 8? So I don't see it. The one thing I do know is I bought some Derek Jeter rookies that were graded mint 9, but they weren't PSA. And if they're not PSA, you don't get value for them. You must have PSA to get value for them. So I cracked them out of the container, and now they're just in my hard plastic. A couple of Derek Jeter rookies, and I'm looking at the card. I don't know why they didn't get 10s. I mean, there's no centering issues on them. The corners are sharp, and I don't see anything wrong with the picture. So I'm going, why isn't this a 10? So I'm going to get them regraded by PSA this time, because it's like a $10,000 difference if you auction a PSA 10 versus a RGB 10 or something. Pat, hello, good morning. Bullion Stars sold over 300 kilograms in 1 kilogram bar gold. In the last 7 days, they are out of kilobars. Well, when my friend gets here, and I know his real name, I'm trying to think of his name, Profit Margin. Profit Margin is coming into about 10 kilogram bars. At 103,000, we looked on eBay. So maybe he can sell you one if you want one in Singapore. David, can you tell me if your Montana card is different one if you get it back? No, I can't. I could on the berry. So if I send in this berry to get graded, because it's numbered 73 of 99, and I could easily take a picture of it, I would then know if I didn't get 73 of 99, I didn't get the same card, but this would tell me I got the same card. That's the one thing I like about numbered. I know it's 73, so that's what I would get back. But how would I know? I could take a picture of this, and we could see it, but I don't know how I would know unless it came back scratched or ink marked or a corner got bent. I don't know, but you can see the corners are very sharp, and this is in the container, but there's nothing wrong with this card. It's a perfect card. So this is where I don't know if I get this card back, which is the problem. But the Barry card, I would send this in because I know they can't really fuck me. Now on the Brady card, again, I don't know because it's not numbered. I do have a few numbered, but I don't think they're numbered like the Barry 73 out of 99. I have a couple of Pacific Brady rookies that just say out of 738, but it doesn't say 21 of 738. So this card, again, this is a very expensive card. It's his Bowman, it's his chrome, and it's his rookie, and it's a refractor. And that makes it worth a ton. Now, I could see that, and maybe if I get the refractor back, but there's really nothing to this card. There's no centering issues now. So the corners are good. The centering's fine. There's no creases. There's nothing wrong with this card. It should be 30,000, 40,000. But again, these two cards, like the Rice rookie, like the Elway rookie, I have no idea if I'm getting the same card back. The interesting one's the Marino card. His rookie card is not worth what Elway is. And this is what I caution people who want to buy Joe Burrow. You got to be careful. He hasn't won a Super Bowl, and as good as Marino win, he doesn't have the value. Elway's value is much higher. Montana's is obviously much better, as is Brady. Mahomes rookies should start getting value. Now, Mahomes could be a horse of a different color. I might buy his already graded because it wouldn't be that expensive now, and it'll go up. But this is basically going to card shows and let me see your Montana rookies, and they'd have them out, and I'd go through 1,000 Montana rookies until I saw this one. Same thing with Rice, same thing with Elway, same thing with Mantle and Bobby Orr. All those older cards that weren't graded, I would look for a gem mint and get as close to it as I can. And that's how I viewed it. And I was good enough grading, and my ex-wife had a good eye. So we got really strong mint cards for really cheap prices because it's sort of like gold. You see how I think out of the box, and I know gold's undervalued. And I explain why gold's undervalued. And it's the same thing with cards. I could see the guy's looking at his Beckett, which is not even a PSA. It's just a near mint. And so the near mint Montana is $100. He didn't have a clue of the gem mint, of the grading, of it's a PSA 10. And I don't think it was out yet, the grade. This is early 90s. And so I knew, though, if it was gem mint, it's worth, because I'd say, what is the Beckett? And the guy says, well, it's a near mint. So it's an 8. So I knew if I found a gem mint card, it would have to be worth a lot more than the $100. Yeah, I thought, okay, it's worth $500, and I paid $100 for it. But when grading came out, that's when PSA 10, then you took the risk away. You knew it was, like we're worried, am I going to get my card back? Well, if it's a PSA 10 and you buy it from me, you don't have to worry about it. It's been graded. It's authentic. It's perfect condition. And it's very limited. That's why PSA 10 cards go for the value they do, especially when they're limited. So in this situation, you can't tell unless it comes back creased or a corner bent, then it's not the same card. So I would take pictures of the card going in, and I'd say, look, the corners are sharp and everything else. But the only way I could really do it is to write like TK on it, Teaser King, but then I ruined the card writing it. So I can't really put any identification on it. On the card itself, I could put it on a plastic over the card, but that wouldn't help me. So that's the problem with grading. Unless you can go right to the grader's desk, say, grade the card, I'm going to be sitting here. I want to watch you grade it. Then we could do it. You ever come across a Mantle rookie? No. I might have, but I never. It was probably going to be really expensive. When I started collecting, I just gotten married, so it was 1990, 1991, 89. I think I got married in 1990. And so there wasn't grading. So we'd go to card shows, right? So she buys me a set of Topps hockey. It's a box. So we open the box, and of course we don't have a full set. So the way I am, I go, well, let's get a full set. So we looked for card shows, and we saw local ones, and then we saw the big ones where there was 1,000 tables. And then you see, it was like Christmas, all these cards for all the sports, old cards, when I'm growing up and everything else. So we didn't want to spend too much because we didn't know what it was going to be. And I'm spending dimes to complete this hockey set. And then you'd see it. And then we kind of limited it to $100, maybe $200. We just know that it would go up that much. So, the Jordan rookie was going to be 300-400. So I never bought it because, the other, well, I can get the Isaiah 86 Flair for like $50. And so that's what I did. So the other ones were 400-500. I didn't want to spend that much. And I could get value out of the $100 one. So I never really looked for a Mano rookie, figuring it's going to be a couple $1,000s. And at that point, I was too naive to not go after it. As I showed you, a PSA 1 Mano card. So here's a Mano rookie, the Topps rookie. It's a PSA 1. The guy's making a big deal about dead center, but if you expand the card, you can see wrinkles all over it, right? Right there, it's all wrinkled. But it's a PSA 1, and he wants $55,000 for a PSA 1 Mano. So the card, if I would have found a Mano rookie, it probably would have cost me maybe $1,000, and it would have been a lot better condition, maybe $2,000. Had I known, I probably could have found a 5 or 6 had I been looking for it. But it was just going to be too much money. So I never really went after. So the best Mano that I saw, so this is the one I really wanted, and it's PSA 9, 60,000, and I love the 65 set. I love the pennants. I don't know why. It's just something like that, like the 68 football, which gives the logos. So I just love that one. So I got a lot of those cards, but I think I saw Mano for $500. It scared me away. I don't know if it was minted. I probably saw some really good Mano cards, but I don't have this one. This is one I really would have loved to have gotten. And if I go to a card show and it's not graded, and you see a really strong Mano card at 60,000, you can get for 500-600, because the dealers are stupid. They're looking at the Beckett and they don't understand the correlation. The Beckett is near mint, not graded, and especially PSA. It must be PSA, not KSA or Beckett or anybody who grades it. For some reason, it's got to be PSA. So 60 grand for this. The other one was 80 grand, the 68, which is the one I have. It was his last card. And so I don't know. I know the first one's valuable, but not that one. This one I bought for $5. This is Montana's second year card. And I got 2 of these, and I guarantee you these are perfect gem mints, the ones I got. I got 2 of these, and I got 2 Walter Paytons. Again, I love the logos and the pennants. So I got I'm second year Montana and a Walter Payton. I think I got a Franco Harris, Lambert. You get a lot of the Steelers were still playing, and so I definitely got 2 of these. My only mistake is I only got one Montana and 1 Rice instead of buying multiples. I just wanted to have them as a collector, not as an investor. I never, from my wildest dreams, I bought this Montana for $100. Did I think it could be a 10 and go to 100,000? Never fantasize about that. We talk about gold going to 20,000. That I think is very doable, but I never thought the Montana would be 100. And the amazing part is, you're telling me that the Montana's worth 100 grand and the gold's only worth 29.40. You got to be kidding. Um, Now, here's what I was telling you. Here's a Rice rookie, 105. This also had centering problems. It was very hard to get this perfectly centered. And again, I probably paid $100 for it, 105. And there's the Montana. There's the rookie. This guy's got it for 75,000. And I think he's not running an auction. He's not really running a buy it now. I don't know what he's running. Yeah. So what he's doing is saying you can buy it now or make me an offer. That is how I would sell on eBay. Buy it now or make offer. So he's so here's 105. Well, you can pay 105. I don't know that I would say make me an offer because he'll never make you an offer of 105. So I would just say buy it now, or if you want to buy it for 90, then send me an email and make me an offer that way. And I'd probably be happy as hell to get 90,000 for it. But you can see, so when it says 105, these have sold for 105, or you would never do an auction for 105 if you didn't think you could get 105 for it. It's the same thing with Montana. I've seen them go for 100, so I'm a little surprised 75. Maybe he needs the money. That's what's happening a lot now. People are losing their jobs. The money's losing value. So the goods are more expensive because the money's lost value, not because the goods have gone up. If anything, that's what Alligator should say. And Mark McGuire, it's not it's not the items going up. It's the dollar going down. Is the same thing for grocery store and everything else. That's the dollar going down, not the prices going up. But gold and silver or Montana or Brady here, it is the demand driving the price up. So why he keeps saying it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down, he's totally 1,000% wrong. And he keeps saying it just like they keep saying debasement. So that's why I put inflation definition in my title, because I'm very tired of being frustrated because these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You ever saw the Mantle rookie? I probably saw one, but I wasn't. It was probably going to be way too expensive. But if you go to a show now, I don't know. Would you see a Mantle rookie? Hard to say. But I would think now, if you saw a Montana mint condition, he's probably got it graded. He's not letting it go for 100 or 500. At least they wouldn't think. If I was at a card show and I brought my Montana and I know it's worth 100,000 if it's a 10, I'm not sure what price I'd put. I'd put 50,000 on it, saying, look, this is going to be a 10, but you got to get it graded. I'm not going to do it. But I'm not letting it go for $1,000. Maybe 10 or 20. But again, if I get it graded and I actually get the card back, it's worth 100. So that's the difference. Now, one card I got is the Steve Eiserman 1 of 1. So on the back, instead of 73 to 99, it says 1-1. I don't know about getting that graded. I don't know if you need to get it graded. What are you going to do? There's only one of them. It's not like you're going to find another one. We know it's limited to one, so I'm not sure that. And it's a Topps. It's like this card. Would you really need it graded? You can see how pretty it is. You can look at it and go, yeah, this is gem mint and it's limited and it's his rookie and it's a refractor. I'm not sure you need to get every card graded. I do think in this, when they're off center like they are, I think this you need graded. But I'm not sure you need this graded. Maybe just because of the centering and the corners, more the corners and everything, you probably want graded. But I'm not sure. But if it's a 1 of 1 card, I don't know that you need it graded. So Pat, Bullion Star has sold over 300 kilograms in 1 kilogram bar gold in the last 7 days. They are out of kilo bars. Okay, so what it tells us is demand strong. Their supply needs to be replenished. Can it be replenished? Now, what'll happen based on our Super Bowl ticket analysis, that now if the supply is gone and they need more, the price has to go up because you've got you don't have any. So now where are you going to find them from? Are you going to find them from people that have bought? So once you get to the secondary market, where now the people that have bought the 1 kilogram bar are now you're going to buy it from them, then you're going to pay more. Just like the Super Bowl ticket. I paid $1,500 for mine, so I want $3,000 for the secondary market. And that's what happens. So once you get secondary market, the prices go up and up and up. So first thing I say is Comex is sinking, like the Titanic is sinking. That's what I always refer to. It's all bullshit. It's all derivatives and options. It's all worthless. You're selling paper gold, which is basically derivatives, not physical. So that'd be like if I sold a paper Montana card. Well, I'm going to sell a paper. This is whatchamacallit. This is Bitcoin. Well, I only got 21 million of these, and they're all copies of this one, right? So there's only one real Montana, but there's a bunch of paper ones, and that's what Bitcoin is. It's a bunch of nothing. It's just paper. It's just paper copies of Montana, and there's nothing real about it. So you're going to spend $100,000 on a digital Montana PSA 10. I mean, that's how stupid it is. So that's what you have in gold is it's all the paper. You're not getting the physical. So they're producing, 100,000 tons of fake gold, paper gold. We don't care about that. It's not real. It's the physical gold is what we want. And you got to differentiate that. So Comex is blowing up because they don't have the physical. All they have is the make-believe paper gold, which isn't real, which you can't do anything with, which has no value. Nobody wants it. That's why everybody's running to get physical. And so that's why I say it's sinking, because they can't get the physical because it's running out. There isn't physical to be bought at these prices because everybody's bought. The Russians, the Chinese, the Indians, the Saudi Arabias, the Dubais, they've already bought their gold. It's all gone. Your 200,000 tons is gone. And the only way you're going to get it now, it's I have it, but I'm not giving it up. I see the price of close to 3,000 now. No, I'm not going to sell it at that. So you have to ask for a higher price for me to sell. So the gold's there, but not at this price. Nobody in the right mind is going to give up their gold for $3,000. That's why the gold price will go up. But to get the physical gold, there isn't any left. It's gone. So therefore, the price must go up to get me the incentive to sell mine, because I am not selling it. And it's gold. I'm not profit taking it. It's not a stock. Gold is something you do not profit take. You do not do. I heard one guy say they're arbitraging it. You do not arbitrage gold. You get the physical and you keep it. And you're not going to sell it for $100 arbitrage. Whoever said that is an idiot. I believe that was Mark Moss. You don't arbitrage and make $100 on gold, because then you're still in this and you don't own the physical. The whole point of buying the gold is to own the physical. The whole point of buying the Montana is to own the card. I want the card. I don't want a digital thing of this, and I don't buy it at 100,000 to sell it at 105,000. That's not what you do with it. So gold, you are not looking to arbitrage or sell it for a little profit. No. You're not doing that. Hey, Prophet, good morning. If you read Pat's, can you see Pat's? I don't know. Pat says Bullion Star, which I guess is a coin place in Singapore, has sold over 300 kilograms in 1 kilogram bar gold in the last 7 days. They are out of kilo bars. So I suggested that you have a talk with Pat and maybe you sell one of those bars for about 300,000 because they sold 300 of them, right? And they're sold out. So the demand's heavy. But now it's like Super Bowl tickets. There's no more physical. Without the physical, you need to raise the price. So the Super Bowl, right? They got 70,000 in New Orleans, then they sold it all out. Now you have more demand. People want to go to the Super Bowl, but there's no tickets. The only way to get a ticket is how much did you pay? 1,500. I'll pay you 5,000. Now it gets the people that bought it for 1,500 to sell it for $5,000. And it's the same thing in gold. What's it going to get you to sell yours? And I would say 500,000 for the bar would probably have you sell one of them or two of them. And so you're in the driver's seat with the supply. I'm in the driver's seat with the supply. I don't have 1 kilos like you do. But I actually have 2 kilos, but they're in ounces. And so, but I'm not selling at $3,000 because I know they're worth a hell of a lot more. And once it gets secondary market where people want, and there's no more gold, and that's about where we are, which is why I say Comex is sinking, because they cannot play the game if they don't have the physical, and they don't have the physical. And I don't even know why they're still playing the game of doing shorts when the demand for gold is so high, but that's where they're at. Profit, holy crap, 500K, really? Well, can you see Pat's Bullion Star? Can you see the above comments? I don't know how it works on your end. I mean, I can see David's and Pat's, and now I can see yours. So I'm not really clear. Yeah, okay. So you can see they ran out. You're not going to sell it for $100,000. They ran out. They're going to offer you more because they sold 300 of them, and they're out of kilo bars. They sold 300. The demand for the kilo bars are huge. So what I'm saying is not right now 500, but you can see when there's demand for what you have, the only way you're going to sell it is for a higher price. So if there's that much demand for $100,000 bars, it won't be far before it's 500,000 for a bar, which is, well, it's triple what it is. Let's say it's triple. So that makes it, what are we at? $3,000 an ounce. So 9,000 gives you 330. So 12,000 gives you close to 369. Well, 100, let's say 110, 220, 334. So that's about 460 if it gets to 12,000, which we're not far off when you've got that kind of demand and such a little supply. Then that's what I'm saying. So coming around July 1st, as the demand for the Super Bowl tickets to the secondary market raises the price, so will gold. That's why the Comex is going out, because they need the gold. They need physical gold to play the game, and they don't have it, and they don't have physical silver. And July 1st will be very interesting, because I don't know if that's what Trump's trying to do, bringing in the gold to pay off the derivatives, which is my guess. I saw an interesting thing on Trump.
Most people are too lazy to do this, but it saves homeowners a fortune. I worked in construction for 20 years.
Meant for people that escaped or invaded, came into our country illegally. It was meant.
It says here, Fort Knox gold Trump hints is missing. Missing gold scandal. So Trump is finally realizing what we've been saying for years. There is no gold or Fort Knox. He's now realizing it. That's what this is. Missing gold scandal. It's not missing. It's been sold to the Chinese 20 years ago. But since you never audited it because you didn't want to say anything, so now it's all China's, and he's like going to say, well, it's missing. It's a scandal. It's not a scandal. You sold it, or whoever, Clinton or George Soros, I guess, sold it to China. So China's got all your gold, which is the point I've been making. Gold is not inflationary. I want to clear this up in a minute of what inflation is, and the tariffs are not causing gold. And the tariffs will not raise the price because the tariffs, the market, only the market can raise the price. Only the free market. This can only go up from 100,000 to 200,000 if the market will allow it. Not anything to do with tariffs, not anything to do with anything. If I put this on auction and it gets 150,000, that's because the market set it. That's what creates the price, is the market. Don't ever forget that. It's got nothing to do with inflation. 110,000 for that card is not inflationary. It's not because the dollar's worth less. It's because of the demand, just like gold. Gold goes up because of the market willing to buy more, not because of the inflation. It's the dollar going down. No, sorry, alligator. The guy just doesn't get it. I don't know where he's on this concept. It's the dollar going down. The dollar going down means the dollar lost value. And theoretically, it takes more dollars to buy something, but it's still the market that says, how many more dollars are you going to pay for it, if any? You go buy Raisin Bran at the grocery store and it's now $5, $6 for, doesn't mean you're going to buy it. And then next thing, what do you see next week? Buy one box, get one free. So now it's really $3 a box, not the $6, because they can't sell it at market because nobody can afford it and nobody's going to pay that kind of money for it. All of them. If I sell a bar on eBay, it's an auction. I could always set to minimum amount to start the bidding. I would never do an auction on eBay. Very soon the producers will run out. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell Prophet. The producers will run out because there is no more gold because it's all gone. Now it's like the Super Bowl tickets. The 70,000 tickets to the game is all gone. They've all been bought. There's no more supply except at a higher price. And that's why people go to the secondary market and say, I will buy 50-yard line Super Bowl tickets for $5,000 that you paid $1,500 for, and you raise your hand and said, you can have mine for $5,000. And that's probably why you bought it. You don't really give a shit about the game. You know that you can buy it for $1,500 and sell it for $5,000, or a Michigan Ohio State game or something like that. So that's the point. Once the supply is gone, the price goes up because there's still demand who want the tickets. There's still demand for gold. Lest we forget, the Titanic sunk. This is worthless, which creates the only out is gold and silver. That's the only out. So, of course, there's nowhere else to go. My dollar's worthless. My British pound's worthless. My euro's worthless. My Swiss franc, they're all worthless. I got to get out of the dollar, and the only thing I can get into is gold and silver, which is going to keep making all the gold and silver is gone now. It's all the tickets have been handed out. The only reason I can get gold at my coin store is somebody comes in and sells it. That's it. That's the only reason I can buy from him is somebody has sold from him. And we thank God for the sellers. But some of the sellers are not doing it because they think that they're doing it because they need the money. And this is what's happening with all this inflation. As the dollar loses value and some things get more expensive, people can't afford them. And there's a lot of baby boomers who are probably retired who can't afford it. And I got to tell you, it's tough if you kind of retire. You're so used to getting a paycheck. I've been working since I was 16 years old. I've been betting football since I was 10. And you're so needing a paycheck or used to a paycheck that when you stop getting it, you really go, oh shit, how much can I afford? Can I afford to go on a vacation? Can I afford this and that? Because you have the money, but how long does it need to last? Right. And that's really the questions. Yeah, I can eat this week, but am I good 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? And that's the beauty of gold. As the dollar goes to zero and everybody gets wiped out, my gold will go up. So I covered myself. My hedge is that. And I meant to say that yesterday in retirement. The retirement planning should be gold and silver, period, because that goes up as everything goes down. Your stocks will go out. Your 401ks will go out. They'll go to zero. The money in the bank is worthless. So if you want to retire, you only have one option: is physical gold and silver. And it ain't Bitcoin. And it ain't. Well, I got 500,000 in a 401k. Yeah, good luck on that one. So that's really what you got to know. As you know, I multitask a lot. If I sell a bar, so profit. If you sell a bar on eBay in an auction, I could always set a minimum to start the bidding. What I would do is what I showed you would be this. Here's a Jerry Rice $105,000 auction. But I would do it this way: buy it now or make me an offer. What do you need an auction for? What if you don't get it? Is your minimum going to be 105 for the Rice card? Right? So you put it, just put it at 105, buy it now or make me an offer. And if somebody says, I'll give you 100 grand for it, you say, deal. You'll be happy to get 100 because you didn't pay 100 grand for this card, more than likely. Like me, I paid 100 for this card. Now I got to get it graded. And if it comes back at 10, like my Montana card, I see the value is 105, but if you offered me 100, I'd be doing dances. I'd say, thank you. Now I can go buy another 30 ounces of gold. Well, the producers have probably ran out, Pat, but they can get more, but that's where the price goes up. So in other words, if the producer needs to raise the price, and if they say, well, I'll give you $6,000, you got my interest. Yeah, I can give you a few ounces of gold with the 6,000. So the gold will always be there. There's 200,000 tons. Will always be there. Nobody's going to let it go at this price because everybody knows the price is fixed. But when you start getting to 10 to 15,000, it's like getting this. I have the Rice card, or I have a look at the Montana card. So the guy wants 75,000 for the Montana card, which I have, which I paid $100 for. So yes, I would gladly. I think it's worth 100, but depends on your situation. But yeah, I would take 70. But I'd be a little stricter. I would put the auction out at 100, and then I would say, buy it now or make me an offer. And then I would think the offer would be 90, 95,000. And then depending on my situation, I paid $100 for it. Again, I'd be dancing, taking it. Probably the smartest thing I did, and this is the most ironic thing. I really wanted to buy gold because once I got my master's in 95, I knew that I had to buy gold. I knew the dollar at that time. My professors said that the Social Security was broke then. 1995, it was broke. So I knew the dollar was what inflation was, and the dollar was worthless. And I knew to buy real assets. So when we went to the card store or the card shows, I knew they were real assets. I never knew they'd grow like this, but I really wanted to buy gold. So the ironic part is, had I bought, if this turns into a 10 and it's 100,000, I never would have bought that much gold. Because gold was, I think, 250, let's say 350 at the time I bought it. So in the 90s, it would have been $400 for ounces. But we only paid, I think we spent like $2,000 a month on baseball cards. So I would have bought 4 or 5 ounces of gold. So it's ironic if this is a 10 and the Rice is a 10 and the Peyton's a 10, that I actually will make more money because I was smart enough to get superstars and get them gem mint condition than if I would have bought gold, which is so ironic. David, do the gold stores know what they are giving away? Absolutely not. I talked to the owner of my gold store, and he knows what I am and who I am. He knows I got a master's in Austrian economics. I show him my channel. I show him Egon. I show him Mark McGuire. And I says, I assume you're putting some of these into your safe in the back. He says, no, I got to sell them. I need to pay rent. And I don't think he gets it. I don't think he understands what inflation is, and the dollar is going to zero, and the demand for gold is going to go to the moon. I don't think he gets that. He's just a regular guy who's a salesman, and he's stumbled on selling gold and silver, and it makes him money. And now the price has gone up, and I don't think he has a clue what's going on. He bought some gold once, he told me. Says, well, if the gold price goes down, I'll be out 45 grand. And I looked at him. I says, why is the gold price going down? It's going up. It's not going down. He still thinks it's regular Comex. And I says, yeah, nothing to worry about. It'll never go down. The gold price kind of tweaks a little because of the derivatives, but there's so much demand. You can see the price keeps, we got to 29.50 today. It was 29.40 when I came on. It had dropped to 29.30, and then it shoots back up. There's too much demand, and it's just about gone. There is not much physical left. This is what I warn you about buying gold and silver mines. You think you're going to make a fortune because you think they have a lot of inventory in gold and silver in the mine of Newmont Mining or Barracks or one of these. They don't got anything. They got very little inventory of gold and silver. So you think that stock's going to shoot up because you think they got all these ounces or tons of gold in the mine, and then their inventory gets revalued. They don't have anything, because now the silver, they're going right to the mine. So India comes to the mine, China, Russia, they're going right to the mine saying, I want 10,000 tons. And so they're depleting the mine of all the silver and gold that they have, because you can't get the gold and silver off of Comex. And if I can't get it off of Comex, I'm pretty fucked. So that's what's happening. So now we're becoming secondary market. We're becoming the Super Bowl tickets. They have been all sold out. And now the only way I get gold is somebody turns in their gold because they need money for food or a bill. They need the money, and therefore with the money, they are turning in their gold, and then I show up and say, oh, you got some gold. Thank you very much. So I'm buying somebody else who just returned it, and nobody can understand. Now they see it at 2,500. They were all, oh, this is the all-time high. And they were selling their gold to make profit like idiots. They don't understand inflation. But then they hit 2,600, then hit 2,700. And I'm going, this ain't nowhere near the all-time high. That's the paper Comex all-time high. We don't care about that. We care about the physical high. And so now what are they saying at 29.40? Has the bell gone on in their head yet going, wait a minute, the all-time high, 2,500, 2,600, 20. Yeah, maybe it's not the all-time high yet. Maybe it's just 29.50 on its way. We'll see $5,000 gold probably by the end of the year. And then once it's all secondary market, the only way I'm selling and you're selling is for that. There's no way Profit is selling his bar for 103,000 with what's going on and the high demand and the very low supply and the dollar going out. Profit is not selling for 100 grand. It's going to take, like I'm saying, 500 grand for him to sell a bar. And even then, it's questionable. You could get $1 million a bar. Do you really want to sell it? Which is what I'm saying about your father-in-law wanting him to sell the gold to put it in the money. No, because gold's going to be, you might be looking at $1 million a bar when it all gets done, or let's say 500,000 a bar. So you'd be out of your mind to sell it for 100. I mean, 300 easy. But once we hit secondary markets and they want your bar, you're not letting it go for 300. You're going to say 500. And then you're only selling one or two of them. You're not selling the bunch. So that's what it happens. So profit with so to answer David's question, do the gold stores know what they are giving away? No. To them, it's a piece of to them, it's like this. It's Canadian Club. I got this from Canadian Club, and I'm putting it on the shelf and selling it for $75. And they bought it for 15. They make 25 a bottle because they need to pay rent and their employees. That's what gold and silver is to these stores. They don't get it. It's just inventory. They realize they're paying more, but they're afraid. There's this Yankee Doodle Dandy guy I laugh at a lot. I watch, and the guy's an idiot. And he's, well, I don't know if I'll buy anymore because the price is going up. And I'm like, you're an idiot. It's going up. So you can pay $50 an ounce, but you're going to be able to sell it for $100 an ounce. Isn't that why you're in the business? And they just don't get it. They're just salesmen who don't get the higher price, and they're worried, oh, the price is going to drop. And you're like, no, the price is not dropping. It's going up higher and higher and higher. Profit with an auction, if the minimum amount is not met, the auction will simply get canceled after the allotted time period runs out. Okay, so talk to me about what would you put your bar at on the, all right, I'll tell you mine and then you can tell me yours. Why would I auction? What would I start my auction at? $5,000? And how long am I going to have to wait till it finally gets up to 100? Why not just put it at 100 or maybe 110 and say, I'll buy it now or best offer, and then get all the bullshit out of the way. Okay, you want to give me 95 or 100? There still might be an auction going on. So I might get some guy saying, I'll give you 90. And then I might get somebody saying, I'll give you 95. And then the guy comes back, I'll give you 100. Well, I'll give you 100. So you can still have your auction and make an offer. Just like that, but why? Where do I want to start it? I'm going to start it at 75,000. What's the point of it? Why go through that on yourself? Just take it. Just what the market is. You know what you have. So if you have the bar of gold, I would put it at. Now I'd put it at one. I'd put it at 110 or best offer. That's what I would put it at. But why do you want an auction? This is not Beanie Babies. These are not just regular baseball and football cards that go for $500. So, yeah, I know eBay auctions and you'd come in and bid at the last minute and try to steal it. I get that, but I'm not sure when you have the big items that you want to waste your time with it. Well, you're going to put it out there for 7 days and you're not going to see action till the 7th day, an hour before it goes. That's when you're going to see the action. But I think if you just put it out there for 100, 105, people see it, they watch it, and then you can go from there. And you can still get your bidding war because people will make offers. And if it's something like gold, they will make you an offer on it. Profit, I could set my minimum bid at 400K if I want. And if it's not met, the auction is simply canceled, maybe 500K. I agree with that, but what I'm saying is I would just do it, buy it now. What do you want for it? 500K. Not now, but when it gets secondary market. So you see the price go up. It's now 10 grand an ounce. So that's triple, 369. So that's about 350. So maybe you put it out there for 375 or best offer. You cut out the bullshit. Either you got the buyer or you don't. If you got the buyer, he'll make you an offer of 350 and you'll dance and sing and dance all the way to the bank and say, sure. That's what I would do. I wouldn't, what are you going to start your auction at? I'll start it at $1 and we'll see, we'll watch it go up to 350,000. I think it's just a waste of your time. and the auction stamp. I don't know that you're going to get more viewers marking it in an auction starting at $1 with a minimum of 330,000. I think this buy it now, make an offer makes more sense because if they want it right away, they'll pay the 350. If they're kind of like me, I'd make you an offer of if it's 350 for 340. Okay, maybe he'll accept 340. And you can always counter the offer. I've done that before where I wanted something. I think it was a card or something, and it was $75, and I said 50. It was a Joe Burrow card. I said 50. And the guy said no, or I think he came back with a counter. How about 65? So you can still have your auction behind the scenes on the messages, but that's what I would do. But yeah, at this point, you would auction it off for 105 or best offer, which you'd probably get 100. But I wouldn't, that's now, but why sell it now unless you absolutely have to? I would at least wait for July 1st. And since, as Pat's telling us, it's all gone, they have to get more, but you can't get more. The only way to get more gold is to raise the price because people like me and you you're not selling your gold at 103, which is basically, let's say 3,000, right? I'm not selling my gold at 3,000. You're not selling your gold at 3,000. When do we get interested? When I see a 5, if I need the money, then I might get interested. But again, I don't want to sell too much because I don't want to be back in monopoly money. So I'm waiting to see what new money comes out, and I'm waiting to see the price go. So at the price, again, I'm only selling a very little bit of my gold. Now, if you go up to 10 grand, I might sell 2 or 3 ounces, but I am never selling all my gold at all because I don't want to get back in monopoly money. Even if it's gold back, I still do not want to get rid of all my gold. I might get rid of a small part of it. Like if you have 25 bars profit, you probably never getting rid of 15 of them. You might get rid of 10, but you're never getting rid of the whole kit and caboodle. There's no way, because you'll be owning a small island with your 10 or 15 bars. So you'd have no reason to sell all of them. Profit, I will definitely wait until after July 1st. Yeah. Well, it's a lot. Are you working? Is she working? Do you have money? Do you need the money? And if you're working and you don't really need the money, I wouldn't even think of selling it. Yes, I would wait till July 1st. And then, first of all, you got to get married and you got to get the bars. So I don't know when that's happening, but you don't even have it to sell if you wanted to. So that part of it, you're just waiting on. But when's the wedding? Make the wedding July 4th, and then you'll be perfect. So again, Comex being the Titanic sunk because all the water came in after hitting the iceberg. You found a lifeboat to get off the Titanic. This is exactly the Titanic. You get off of this, and the gold and silver are your lifeboats, and the water's filling up. This is gone. Now, I showed you that Luke Groman thing yesterday where he's sitting there and he's blatantly lying out of his mouth, and it's very frustrating as an economist to go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? So he's saying Israel had 200% inflation in the mid 80s, and they were fine. No, they weren't fine because they needed to come out with new money to get out of the inflation. So let's talk inflation. Inflation is this: you're inflating this dollar. You're printing it to death. You printed it, and there's too much out there. You've flooded the market. It has no more value. Nobody wants it because you flooded the market with it. So prices go up because you've printed too much, and the value of this has dropped. That's what inflation is. This has no more value. Prices are high. How do you get out of it? Coming out with a new dollar, which is what Israel did. They came out with a new dollar January 1st, 1986. That's how they ended the inflation. They did not come out of it. They had a new dollar. And so the dollar that was inflated went away, and they brought in a new dollar that hadn't been inflated yet, which I assume got inflated because I doubt it was backed by gold. That might be why you had, it's starting to make sense, because what you had, 9/11 was a gold robbery by the Israelis, right? They did the gold robbery. And now it makes sense, because if the Israelis stole the gold from the Federal Reserve, one of those buildings under the World Trade Centers, they probably started backing their money by gold or needed gold to survive. And that's what now it all makes sense. So Israel did not stop their inflation and say, oh, we're all right at 200%. They stopped this money by throwing it away and coming out with new Israeli money in January 1st, 86, which stopped the inflation of their first dollar. So there's heavy inflation on this dollar. You get rid of it, and then you come up with this dollar, right? So now you're using this dollar instead of this. This is worthless. So now you have this dollar. So now everything kind of resets until you figure out this isn't worth anything either. And your inflation comes back 6 to 9 months later, because this dollar is the same piece of shit that this dollar is. So that's what happened to Israel and Zimbabwe and Venezuela and Greece, Sri Lanka, Germany, France, England. France and England still have currency, right? England's got the euro, and France has the euro, and England has the British pound. It's not the first one, and they've already had their massive inflation, and they're having more massive inflation. So that's how you get out of inflation, is coming up with new money, because the money you're using has been inflated or printed. So I want to be very careful. Inflation is printing the money so it has no more value, flooding the market with the money. That's what you have, and every government will inflate their money to zero, because they start giving away Social Security and Medicare, paying for the defense, paying for their interest. Where do they get the money? They print it. So they flood the market with this new money to pay for the interest on the loan, their military, the Social Security, the pension funds, all that has to be paid for. Where are you getting the money from? Because the government is not a company and does not make revenue. You print the money, as that's how they do the revenue, but they don't realize is it goes to zero. So now the money is worthless. The only way out of that is to come out with new money. And then all the values kind of change. So that's all Israel did. They did not beat the inflation at 200%, like Luke Groberg seems to think. He's living in his own world where he doesn't understand inflation. Israeli beat it. No, they didn't. And don't tell me about Spain and the gold inflation. All that was the value of the gold went down because they had so much of it. And I think it was more silver, but it didn't last. And then gold and silver obviously went up. So don't make it sound like that's inflation. Like, gold, and you can inflate gold and silver. That's a bunch of bullshit. You can't inflate it now because you have too much demand for it. So even if you found 1 million tons of it, you wouldn't have inflation. It might lower the price temporarily, but then it would go back up. This is never temporary. This, once you inflate this, it's gone, right? It's zero. There's no way to get it back. That's what happened in Israel. That's what happens Sri Lanka and Greece and everywhere else. It's gone, and that's what happens. So I wanted to be very clear on what inflation is, because it seems like nobody understands it. They all want it to be prices. Prices are not inflation. Prices are the cause of they're the effect of the inflation. So as you're printing the money and it loses value because you've flooded the market with dollars, let's put it this way. So as profit has a bar worth 100,000, is a 1 kilo gold bar, $100,000. But as the dollar goes down, profit says, I don't want 100, what I could buy with the 100,000 now versus what I can buy with the 100,000 in 2 years is not the same. So I need 125,000 for my gold bar to get the same value that I would get at 100,000 now, because in 2 years I won't be able to buy as much as I could now. That's what the inflation does. So you can't buy as much. Go to the grocery store, try to fill your cart, try to fill the bottom of your cart. It'll be $200. That's the problem with it. So as you see that, I've been watching these old, how life was like in the 70s and 80s. You see hamburgers at McDonald's for 25 cents. What's changed? The dollar's gone down. That's how much the dollar's lost, and now it's $5, and it's a smaller Big Mac than it was in 1975 or whatever year I'm watching. And that's all it is just the dollar's lost value. So as we know, when you don't have gold backing it and you have these morons printing it, it loses value. You're flooding the market, and the value of the dollar drops to zero every time, 100% of the time. And that's really the problem. And so we know that's going to happen if you're not backing it by gold, because the government wants to give handouts for votes because they want power. That's why they run for office. They're doing it for the wrong reasons, but that's what they're doing. And don't kid yourself, Trump wants power. That's why he's running. Elon Musk, I don't know what that guy's doing, because that guy's poorly running Tesla. I love it. He's got all this time to run Tesla. It's like, seriously, what is that? You don't even need to run your business. It must be nice to have the business be that independent. That you're not there to run it. So the politicians want power and they want money. That's why they want the lobbyists to pay them. Why they haven't eliminated lobbyists? Because the people who are going to vote for it won't vote for it. Why is J.P. Morgan not in jail for having a monopoly on the printing press and fixing the price of gold and silver and all these commodities? Because he's in charge, so he's not going to arrest himself. That's the problem. So hopefully what Trump's doing, we'll get to the bottom of it and put him in jail where he belongs. J.P. Morgan, the Jamie Dimon guy, most of these politicians, Donna Pelosi, insider trading. It's illegal for us, but not for them. So you will always have this problem with the inflation, which is flooding the market with dollars, loses the value of the dollar. Now, it doesn't necessarily raise the price of gold. It just knocks the dollar down. What I say is the ounce of gold is still an ounce of gold, and it takes more money to buy the same ounce of gold. I understand that. But it also can go up because of demand. If there was no demand for gold, I don't know, it would be $29.50. Now, the value of the dollar is gone. It's at least gone 99%, according to Mark McGuire and Alligator and Egon. They're all saying it's lost 99% of its value. Then why is gold not at 20,000 an ounce? That was my presentation to Egon. I said, well, if the dollar has lost 99% of its value, let's take 2,700 times the 99%. It should be 180,000 an ounce. If we're going to go with what you guys are saying, it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down. Well, you haven't raised the gold the 99% that the dollar's lost its value. So, and it's just Alligator with his he's so stupid. Oh, it's the dollar going down. Gold isn't going up. Gold is going up, moron. It went from 23 to 2,900. The dollar's been zero for 20 years now. So I don't really get that. So that's what inflation is. It needs more dollars to buy the same goods and services, to buy your Coke and Pepsi and Fritos and hamburgers and hot dogs. It takes more dollars to buy it because the dollar has lost its value because it's been flooded on the market. And as more and more people are aware of it, they stop owning the dollar because it's worthless, and they go to the lifeboat, which is gold and silver, which is the only lifeboat. There's no other option. You can't housing, no, and go putting your money in the bank, putting your money in the stocks or Bitcoin is not an answer. You're still on the Titanic by putting your money there. The only out is gold and silver because it's real money. It's physical. They can't inflate it or print it. And that's why you go to gold and silver. And that's what's causing the price increases. It's the inflation of the dollar. Half the people don't even know what it is. They say, well, yeah, the money's being devalued, but the inflation is up. The inflation's 2%. I mean, really, you're going to embarrass yourself on YouTube by saying inflation's only 2% or 3%? Really? You're this stupid? No, like I said, you can't measure inflation. Who knows what it is? You know, again, it's here. Well, we don't know what this number. We don't know what the number is in physical gold. We know what it is in Comex. We don't know what the inflation percent is. It's, you know, probably 500-600% easy. It can't be measured in prices, so I don't know how you measure it, but it's much, much higher than 2 or 3%. I mean, that's because it's the printing of the money. It's not the prices, it's you printed the money. And so when you go print the interest payment on your 260 or what is it now, $37 trillion in debt, but we owe more. That's on the books. I guess Andy Schechtman said there was 200 trillion in debt, in U.S. debt. So how do you pay the interest on that? You print the money, so it devalues it even more. So it's always going down. So how can that not be included in your inflation figure? I mean, that's what 1.5 trillion a quarter. So it's 5-6 trillion a year. That's inflation. How do you get 2%? You're printing $6 trillion and you're saying inflation's only up 2% because you're looking at prices of Campbell's soup and Oreo cookies. Yeah, sorry. So this is the other scam. We went to the moon. Sure, we did. 9/11 just happened to be terrorists. No, it was a gold robbery. 2008 was because you idiots lent money to people who couldn't afford it, and you crashed the system. So the reality of what happened is that. So the reality of the inflation is not 2 or 3%, and the money lasting long enough until it's worthless is very, very soon. Like Egon says, that final 5%, the water in the stadium fills up. So it goes from 7% to 100% in the last 5 minutes. And that's what's happening here. We're in the last 5 minutes, and you're starting to see the gold and the silver. Well, we're not seeing the silver rise yet, but it really is. The silver's up here, right? The demand's up here. The $30, $32 bullshit. Comex is keeping it at 32. What are they thinking? Are you this stupid that you're shorting? How are you going to pay the derivatives off, the options? You're doing put options to keep the price lower. How are you possibly going to pay that off when silver hits $100 an ounce? Are you insane? Why aren't you just buying silver? Now, believe me, silver, they're 25,000 tons short in Comex. Bye Comex, because you can only play the game with real physical. You can't play the game just with paper. I'll owe you. You know, could you imagine buying that? Could you imagine? Okay, you just gave me 110,000 for the Montana card, and I say I owe it to. I'll give you a paper. I'll give you a document that says I owe you, one Montana card, but I'm not going to give you the card. But I owe you the card. I owe you the card, but I'm not going to give it to you. Well, that's silver, right? I owe you the silver, but I'm not going to give it to you. And I owe 25,000 tons, and it's probably 40,000 tons by now. So how can you still have Comex? See, that's the Achilles of Comex is taking the physical out because you can't play the game anymore. So understand that. The $32 silver is bullshit. If you can't afford the gold, go buy as much silver as you can. But whatever gold, even if it's a tenth of an ounce, it's still $350 for a tenth of an ounce. Very affordable. The quarter ounce I saw for about $850. I would highly recommend that. The half ounce is about $1,600, and the ounce is probably 31 and change. So if you don't have 3,000, you need it for something else, buy a quarter ounce, $800. Buy the 10th of an ounce. I mean, buy some gold. The object is to not buy the graded stuff. I see graded stuff much higher, or proof, and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, buy the regular coin, the ounce of gold. That's what you want. You don't need it graded. You don't need 70s. You don't need proofs, MS 70s. Just buy the fucking gold. That's just regular gold. $3,000 an ounce, 3,100. So that's why Comex is blowing up. The inflation is forcing you to get into gold and silver because the dollar is worthless. It is not prices. It's how much is printed. You're flooding the market with the dollar. It's got no value. All the BRICS countries don't want it. They're going to gold. Trump's now saying, oh shit, there is no gold in Fort Knox. Somebody stole it. So he probably sent somebody to say, how much gold do we got there? And they said, we don't have any. It's gone. So now he's like backtracking, going, oh, somebody stole it. What exactly did he say? He's, I'm back here. Missing gold, it's a missing gold standard. Missing gold scandal is what he's saying. What is that? It's a scandal. It's missing. Like, you're surprised. So that tells you right there, we don't have any. And we've been saying that for the last 5 years. I've been saying we don't have any, because if we did, we'd prove it. Do you have the Montana rookie, Howard? Yes. See, I have it. You asked about a mantle card. I didn't go into my safe, but I'll do that today and show you the mantle card tomorrow. No, I don't have the mantle rookie. I don't lie about it. I don't have it, unfortunately. I wish I did. If you could have a PSA 7 mantle rookie, you would never work again in your life. I mean, it'd be a couple $1 million, because it's so limited, but it's so highly demanded because it's mantle and it's his rookie. I don't know why rookies are worth so much. It's the first card. Who cares? You just want to own a mantle card. Does it really? Well, look at the last one. I got the 68, and I showed you the 65 with the pennant. The 68 is worth more because it's this last card. I didn't know. I just wanted a card, and it was cheap. I think I paid $200 for it, and it's dead. It's dead perfect. I mean, I could get a 10 on it. So I'm sitting on all these gem mint cards. I just got to get them graded. I got to figure out a way to get them graded. You even just get one graded. That's it. So anyway, so that's what's going on. So what else? So Titanic, Comex, broken up because they don't have physical. You need physical to get out of the dollar because the dollar's gone, because they printed too much and they keep printing, and they can't stop printing because they got to pay the debt, the Social Security, the military, all these costs they have to keep paying. They can't get out. Dodge can't do anything. Musk can't do anything. Trump can't do anything. Now, it'll be like Israel. The dollar will go out. You'll have 200% inflation, whatever that means. You'll have the inflation. The only answer is to come out with new money, and preferably backed by gold. So I don't know what Trump's going to do, but this is already worthless. I'm telling you, I'm bracing you for the reality of it. That's why I bought a bunch of gold and silver, and I got the cards. I'm already bracing that this is worth nothing. So when it comes out that the dollar is worthless, I'll sleep very well that night, because I already know that's what's going to happen. Right? It's a done deal. It's going to happen. It's just a matter soon. I don't know if they're going to try CBDCs. Won't work because they're fiat. The only thing that can work is gold and silver. Bitcoin cannot work because it's not real, and it's not money because you can't go to Kroger's with Bitcoin. I love when somebody says, well, the one pizza place in Ann Arbor will take it. I'm like, yeah, that's probably, but does the grocery stores and the restaurants, and the hotels and the airplanes and everything else, my utility companies, can I pay rent with it? No. So it isn't money. And that's what defines money, is it's accepted by everybody, and nobody accepts Bitcoin because nobody knows what the fuck it is. You couldn't pay me Bitcoin. If somebody said, I'll give you a Bitcoin now, it's worth 90,000, I would say, I'll tell you what, give me $100,000 worth of gold. I'll take that instead. And the people who own it, I just shake my head. I try to tell them to sell it. Well, I paid 20,000 for it. It's at 70. Okay, why don't you take half, take 50 out, and that's your profit, and then play your other 25. You think it's going to $1 million? Fine, play it out. But take your profit and buy gold and silver with it before that explodes. These people don't know how lucky they are that they have the Bitcoin. They made money on it. Now they can sell it, get out of it without losing everything made off, and buy gold and silver at these ridiculously low prices and get a double hit because they can make the money on Bitcoin, sell it, and then make the money on gold and silver. And they're too stupid. I don't know what they're thinking with Bitcoin that they think it's worth something. You don't even know what it is. Oh, well, there's 21 million. 21 million of what? Air? And you're still going to go 21 million. You still think there's 21 million of nothing. Okay, yeah, I can. Of course, there's 21. I printed 21 million of this, so I have one card with 21 digital copies of it. But I swear it's only 21 million. But the copies aren't worth. They're not the card. There's no value. It's just unbelievable. What else? Profit. Would there be any benefits to melting down the bars? The only benefit I would see is if you wanted to sell, if you're only looking to sell part of the bars and get 33 ounces of it, right? So you got the bar, now you got 33 ounces, which would be good if you wanted to sell a few ounces. It'd probably be better taxable because you could sell 3 ounces here and 3 ounces there, and there'd be no tax. Selling the bar, there would be. However, you're going to have to pay costs to melt it down. If you melt it down. I don't know if you'd melt it. Yeah, you probably would, because when I took in my jewelry, he sends it and they melt it down and they probably make coins out of it. So I think what would happen is you'd get it melted down and then turned into coins. Or send it to Switzerland and say, I want these to come back as 1 ounce coins. So I think that's what you would do. So it's the cost of getting them melted down and getting the coins is X versus paying the tax on the whole bar. That would be your benefit. So if you needed 10 grand or 20 grand, I would almost suggest you just sell the bar for the 100 or 200-300, whatever it's going to be worth. I don't know if it's 300 or 400. Unless you have a plan for the 300 or 400. In other words, I'm going to sell the bar, get 400 grand in monopoly money, but I'm going to take it and pay for a house. And there go. And so if you're going to spend all of it or most of it, then yeah, there's no reason to. But if you're not, like I said, if I sell, I'm only selling 1 or 2 ounces. I'm not selling 20 ounces. What am I going to do with the money? Watch it go to zero? So the most important concept that I give you is that this is worthless. And the biggest thing that I fight is the 401k people who have $500,000 in their 401k who think it's worth something, right? They think it's worth something. I got 400k in my 401k. I got 500 grand in it. Okay, I saw the market the other day went down like $90 or something like that, or 900. So what are you going to do when it goes down $5,000? Now the market's at 3,500. Now what are you going to do? Your 401k took a hit. What are you going to do? Oh, it'll come back. Oh, okay. I emphasized to Jenna, I emphasized to her, silver's going to go up, but you got to wait for it. It's not going up tomorrow, but it will go up. So you're hoping she has the patience to understand that right now it won't, but it will. And it's going to go up soon. Now probably within a year, silver will be $200-300 an ounce. I gave her a 5-ounce silver, so when that goes to 200, that's now worth $1,000, not the 150. She's got to realize that, and that's what people are struggling to realize. Now they can see the gold go to 2950, obviously 3,000 to 3,500. People will then start realizing what's really happening. And that's why I think they're still trying to keep the price of silver down, as if people are that stupid to not realize that here goes the price. Because again, once the initial Super Bowl tickets are gone, then that price goes up. And once the 200,000 tons of gold is gone, and I'd say it is, and once, let's call it 500,000 tons of silver, once that's gone, now it's secondary market. And you've broken Comex because they can't sell it without having physical. You got to have 4% physical. You can't just, I'm going to sell a derivative. I don't have any, it's like me putting, all right, I'm going to run an auction for Joe Montana. I'm going to sell 2 cards. You only got 1. You can't sell 2. Well, no, I'm going to sell 2, and I'm not going to give this card up. I'm going to just say, I owe you, like a derivative, I owe you 2 cards. Since I don't have them, you'll never get them, but I'm not going to say that. And that's what an ETF is. That's why the Sprout guy should be in jail, because he's misleading people into believing they got physical gold, and they don't. And so if I misled you into saying, well, I'm selling 10 of these and I only got 1, how am I going to sell the other 9? I don't have them. Well, I owe you. And that's what Comex is. So silver, they owe 25,000 tons out. That's what they owe out, and they don't have it. How are they going to pay it? And you think Russia and China are just going to be like, no problem, don't pay me? And that's why July 1st is like, no, I want it by July 1st. And that's why the U.S. is scrambling to get gold and silver in, because this July 1st date, if they don't have it, they're fucked. And that's the big problem. What else did I put in my title? Paper gold, Comex almost sunk, Trump, Fort Knox, inflation definition. So I think I hit it all. So again, Trump, Fort Knox, there's nothing there. Inflation, it's money being printed to zero, not prices. Do not get caught into inflation's 3%. Anybody telling you inflation's 3%, I would just shake my head and walk away going, you're an idiot. And just walk away going, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. And I do that all the time to these guys in the hot tub, in the sauna, at the club, at work. I don't know if I can work anymore at an office. I think I can only teach and sell my football and play poker. I don't know that I can work in an office. There's too many idiots there, because I've went to a new level. And I'll start talking gold or inflation, and people don't understand what they are. And I disassociate with them now. Being stoic, when you meet idiots, you disassociate. You go, I can't talk to this guy, because I don't play the stupid game of, we'll just bullshit the breed. Well, what did you do Sunday night? Oh, I watched a movie. Who gives a fuck? It's all vampire talk. So you don't really care about it. So you don't talk to these people. So when it becomes at the office and you go, well, do you have any gold? Well, no, I got a 4. Or the idiot lady who said, no, I sold my silver so I can get into an annuity at 9%. You think I could talk to that lady again? There's no way. And I told her, that's the stupidest thing you could have done was sell your silver. That's what you need. You should be buying silver. Well, I trust my guy. He's made me some money, and yeah, but you trust your stock guys, right? Everybody, look at my 401k. It's 500 grand. It's my stock guy knew what he was doing. He didn't know shit. He just got on board by Apple and by Amazon and by Tesla, and they were all going up because the Fed printed money and put them in those stocks. An idiot could have told you that. But now he's really got to earn his money, and he won't be able to because the stocks are going to come down. And if he doesn't tell you to go in gold, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Why do you want to continue having conversation with this guy? He's going to make you broke. Well, but he made me a lot of money. Okay, well, it's called bricks. It's called gold. It's called inflation. You're fucked. But you don't want to hear that. So you're going to keep going blindly. And then you meet somebody like me. And I said, well, do you understand gold? No, I'm fine in my 401k. We're done talking. There is no more discussion. I got into a fight with my friend in Florida who's got a 401k. That's my retirement, 500 grand. Says, I don't want to hear about gold anymore. And I says, okay, I'll tell you what, I won't bring it up. But when you go broke, I'm not going to give you any. Don't ask me for gold, which will be $30,000 an ounce. I'm not going to help you because you're insulting me. And I have a hard time talking to him because if you're going to disrespect me and not listen, and I'm trying to help you, I don't charge. So I'm trying to help. And if you're that stupid, what do I want you as a friend for? You're too stupid to be friends with. That's the problem. So as you become more and more stoic and start to understand there's a lot of bullshitters out there that you don't want to get drained and waste your time with, you only want to associate with people like us who understand gold and inflation. These are the people. That's why Pat comes on from Singapore, because he can't have this conversation with most people. I was talking to this girl. I have no idea who she is. She hits me up on Telegram, and I start talking, and well, let's have a relationship. Let's get to know each other. And I go, no, there's no point in it. What's your view on gold? And if you don't have the view on gold that I do, I'm done. There's no point in talking to you and getting to understand you and having a relationship with you if you don't understand gold. That's where I'm going. It's like, if you don't, I bet football and I bet poker. I play poker. And if you don't understand that, I don't have any time for you because that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to give up my life for that. But I already have Daria. Once the stupid war is over, she gets all this. She gets gold. She knows I do poker. I leave her alone with her vices. She leaves me alone with my vices. And together, we're very strong together. So that's what you're looking for. So I'm like, no. I got to ask you these questions up front. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. What are we going to do? Go to dinner and we're going to do this and do that. And then I'm going to say, well, what do you think of gold? I don't like it. All right, goodbye, because I'm going to stoic you. And I'm going to say, I don't have time for this. I'm not going to teach you. And if you don't understand it, there's no point. I don't want to have a relationship with you. I'm not worried about having relationships. I am fine that way. So like I said, I got Daria just waiting for me. She loves that I have the gold. So what are we doing? Anyway, so that's kind of where you're at. You go right to the point. But being stoic, you start realizing people are idiots and you don't want to waste time with them. Bobby has that all the time. He says, I can't stand being around half my family because I can't have a conversation. They're all vampires. They all just talk the talk. My mom was like that when she was alive. She would yap, and I'd be like, I can't listen to this. What are you talking about? And so I didn't, that's why I didn't see my mom for 10 years. People, why don't you? I can't. She's, it's a waste of energy and time. We tend to waste energy listening to people, and especially if we don't agree with them, or what's the point? So you cut those people out, and that's how my mom was. She would just talk about nothing continuously. So you were at the point where you're like, I got to get out of here. You're draining me, and that's what happens to us. We get drained, and so you just avoid those people, and you just have like our conversations here. They're right to the point. They're teaching, they're educational, they're interesting. That's the point of these. And so you guys have somebody to talk to, and I have somebody to talk to that we can relate to. And that's why sometimes when Greg and John comes on and he vampires us with his mindless right now he'd be bringing up Patrick Mahomes or something. We're talking about gold here and inflation. He's going to bring up, he just vampires us. He kills us. So that's the difference. Profit. Seriously, Professor, you're the only guy I can watch now when it comes to economics. I feel the same way, Prophet. Thank you very much. I have a heart. The only guy I can watch is Egon and a little Mark McGuire when he doesn't have his guest on. If he has his guest, I can't watch the guest. But like Luke Robin. I showed you Luke Robin yesterday, right? The guy's an idiot. I showed you some other guys. There's the other guy was a fucking Marxist. And that's the problem. That's what's deadly about it. You'll see a guy, and then you Google them, and you find out they're Marxists or Keynesians, and immediately I don't want to watch them. Again, Egon, I can't. I got to do some shorts because I think it's hard. Well, we're going on an hour 40. Well, it's hard to watch the whole show. It's different when you're live with me because then it's a conversation, and you can go pee and have a burger, and I'm still on, and you can watch it and listen. But most people, I don't know, like when I see somebody else for 2 hours, I might interject for a half hour and then come back to it. When I go to the gym, I put it on when I'm on the bike for 20 minutes. But it's hard to watch 2 hours, especially since I do it every day. But if you're on live with me, I think you can do it. I mean, it's no problem for me to talk for 2 hours, which is amazing, but it's interesting. I was thinking about that with school. We go to school, right? Let's say you go to high school, and I hated high school. I didn't mind. I hated my undergrad, but when I got into my master's program and I found Austrian economics and corporate finance, I loved it. And, I was thinking about that this morning, like the problem with high school and everything. And it's a lot of is we don't want to be there. It's like work. I was thinking, I don't know that I can work anymore because I can't sit from 8 to 4:30 and just sit and work. I can't do it. My mind's too quick. I'm missing too much stuff. I want to do this. I want to pick my football if we're doing that, or go play poker. I want to do interesting things. And there's nothing at work. It's so boring. Oh, do a spread. Okay, update the spread. Okay, yeah, that takes 20 minutes. And I think the biggest problem with work, it should be productivity, not hour-based, which means give me a project to do, right? So you give me a project, explain inflation. Fine. I can do it in a half hour. Why am I here 8 hours explaining inflation if it took me a half hour to do? So if you give me a budget to do or some financials or month end, and you give it and you need this done and I can do it in an hour, what am I doing there for 8 hours? Because now I'm bored. I got nothing else to do. I did what you wanted. That's what you're paying me for. Why are we working hourly instead of productivity? Which means this is what I need you to do. I'm going to pay you $100,000 to do this. Fine. It's month end. Here it is. I did my entries. I did this. I'm going. I did what you wanted me to do. Why am I here 8 hours? Why am I not rewarded for my productivity and my alertness to have this job done in an hour that would take other people a day to do? So I can do it in an hour. Well, then what am I still doing here? Why do you need me for 8 hours? Why are we paid by the hour? We're not, it's like somebody mowing your lawn or painting your house. I need you to paint my house. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to give you $1,000 to paint my house. And you can do it in 2 hours. Here it is. You painted the house. Here's your $1,000. Period. Or mow my lawn. When you're done mowing the lawn, here's your $50 to mow the lawn. Why is it hourly? And so I always struggle with this at most of these jobs because it's too fucking boring for me. I cannot handle just sitting there. I end up going for walks, then I get in trouble. You weren't at your desk. Yeah, because I was bored out of my fucking mind. You can't give me enough work. I am way too productive. I did what you needed. I finished my assignment at noon. What do you want me to do from noon to 4? Just sit here and stare at the walls because I got to get 8 hours in instead of productivity? And I think if you did a productivity company, it'd be much better. I mean, look at college, right? Look at this. This is not time limit. We're talking these subjects. Today was baseball cards and the gold bar and inflation, and Pat brings in his stuff, and that's it. Okay, there's what we're talking. And then you go, and that's fine. We don't have to go 8 hours. We get it done in an hour. We got it done. That's the point of what needs to be done at work, not. And then Trump going, well, nobody can work from home. The fuck difference does it make? You don't even understand it. It's based on productivity. That's going to be my next interview. I'm gonna say I want to get paid for productivity, not time. And I don't give a fuck because I got gold, and I don't care if I get the job, but I'm going to get that point across. It should be based on productivity. I was just my job got eliminated at Tenneco, right, a couple of weeks ago. Why? What did you need done that I didn't do? Everything was done. Why would you eliminate my position? Does that mean you don't have anything else to do, or you can't fill my 8 hours? You know, that's I'm sure there's I could do other things in your fucking company to fill my time. And if I can't, as long as I'm getting done what you need, that's it. You should be paying me to do the job. Profit. I'm the only guy you can. I thank you. Appreciate that. And tell 2 friends, let them watch. But I think because I coach my daughter's softball team and I understand teaching to 10-year-olds, so you have to really explain it where people understand it. I was telling you, I showed you Luke Groman yesterday. And what did I say? I don't know what the fuck the guy's talking about. He would say something and you didn't. I didn't know what he was talking about, right? And so these people that talk at high levels, like Mark McGuire, like whatchamacallit, the Rickards guy and Rick Rude. Rick Rude, I don't understand what the fuck that guy says. They're worthless because, you know, if I don't explain what I'm talking about, nobody's getting any value out of it. So I try to make sure you get value out of it. And I notice I get very few questions on, I don't understand. I very rarely get, I don't understand about a topic I'm talking about. Nobody says I don't understand inflation or gold, why we're buying gold or the Titanic. Everybody says that's good. That was a good example. I get very few, I don't understand what you're talking about. Are you kidding? I could listen to you all day. I get that a lot too. When I go to Toyota and I talk to the sales manager and I explain his job to him. And he says the same thing. I could listen to you all day. And this is what I was talking to the sales manager at Page Toyota in Detroit. He says, I've marked up the Camrys. I bought mine at $24,000. He starts selling them at $35,000. He says, I can't sell any. So you know what I did? I did this. And I said, well, this is your market, 24 grand, and you're trying to sell it at 35 grand. Who are you selling to? There's no market there. The only way you can sell a car is you got to sell it to your market. And right now your market's 24,000. I don't care if your costs went up. It doesn't matter to me. I'm only going to give you 24,000 because that's what I think the car's worth. And it blew his mind. He totally blew. He got it, and it blew his mind. And so I said, you've got to find your market, and you can't be up here at 35 grand. And I say the same thing to the guy with the ribs, saying, look, the market for your ribs are $30. If you go to 45, he didn't, but I said, if you go to 45, who are you going to sell it to? The market's down here. So you got to be careful raising your price. You might be able to get 31 out of them, but if you go to 45, who are you selling to? And then all these people who are willing to pay 30 get up and leave. So now you've lost all your 30 people because they go, I can't afford 45. And you're 45 and you can't sell any, you're out of business. Very, very clearly. So again, it's selling. You can only, your sales price, there has to be a market for. So if you know your market, that's the price you sell it for. Same thing with Tesla. His market, who knows what the market for electric cars is? Probably like $2,000. There's no demand for electric cars in America. So he's trying to sell them for 90,000, and then it's 80, and then it's 60, and then it's 40, and there's no takers because there is no market for it. That's what a male investment is. A male investment is there's no demand. So you don't have this. So you're trying to sell a product and you don't even have, there's no demand at all. That's what a male investment. So you've wasted your time and your money by making a product that there is no demand, or that means there's no market for. So in a regular car, yeah, I'll give you 24 for a Camry, but in an electric car, I wouldn't buy an electric car for 24. Not America, because we don't know where the charging stations are. We drive 2, 3, 4 hours. We need charging stations. In Europe, what I was told is that most of the cities are close. They're a half hour away. So if you charge your car to go the half hour is not a big, you don't have to look for charging stations. And then in the city, you'll be able to get to the charging stations. So that's what he said. And then I'm sitting there. So you have that, but the other kicker is in Europe, the price of gas is much higher. It's hard to go because we go from gallons to whatever. So let's see. Let's see what the price of gas is in Berlin. Well, we'll just say in Germany. Okay, in dollars. So here's the gas price as of June 17th. Now, I don't know why they're giving me that. What is it today? Gas was $7.15 a gallon converted into US dollars. As of February 13th, gas in Germany costs about $1.82 per liter, whatever that is. In June 2024, gas in Denmark cost $8.21 a gallon, while gas in France costs $7.32 a gallon. So you can see $7-8 a gallon in Denmark and France and in Germany, right? $7 a gallon. That could drive you into an electric car because that's expensive. And if an electric car, I don't know what the charge cost is, but it's still pretty expensive. Versus the other problem in Europe is there's a lot of subways and trams and little buses and all these, the electric things, the streetcars. I don't need a car. So therefore, why would I buy an electric one? I don't need a gas powered one. I'll just get on the tram or whatever. Maybe I take one, but do I really need one? And then is it because of the gas? Here I can pay in Detroit. I go fill up now, it'll be $2.90 for a gallon. So here it's $7.15 a gallon, or who knows what it is now. Let's say $8. So that could be a reason to buy an electric car, but I'm not going to pay $90,000 for one. So there is a little bit difference. There's shorter trips and the gas price is higher. Maybe I buy an electric, but here at $2.70, $2.80 a gallon, and who knows where these charging stations are, and who knows the cost of the, are you really saving? Because if you think about it, so I'm paying $7 a gallon for gas, but how much is the charging station costing me? And how often do I need to charge it? And then if I fill up for gas, I'm good for a week or two. If I fill up electrically, I might have to go every other day, because once my battery starts draining, we all know with the computer and the phone, once the charge starts wearing down, I might have to go every day. Well, that's not factored in. Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper to charge than the gas, but I got to do it 5 days a week. That's time that I waste my time, and time is valuable that I'm doing that. So again, I don't see any benefit to an electric car. A little bit with the gas, but then you're going to charge more, and then your time will eat that up. So there won't be any value in it at all. Excuse me. Profit. Plus, lithium tends to blow up and catch on fire for no reason. Well, it probably gets heated, but I know what you mean. Hybrids are a better option. But if you're getting a hybrid so you could get gas, is there really a value to it? That's really the question. Is there a value to the hybrid? I get the hybrid, but you're buying the hybrid because you still want gas. And believe me, as we know, the batteries will not last. The batteries will start draining. And after 6 months, you'll be filling up, you'll be charging your car every day. And then will there be enough electricity? Because you still have to electricity for the house, for the factories, for the stores. You only have so much electricity. So in China, I showed you a video where people were waiting 3 days to charge their car because there was no energy. So they're sitting at the charging station. There's like 8 chargers, and people are sitting there for 3 days waiting to get the charge. What if you got to go to work? You can't. What if you want to eat? You can't, because you can't move. Your car's dead, or you have very little juice on it. And again, you're wasting a lot of time waiting to charge it. The whole idea is just absolutely stupid. It's as stupid as Bitcoin. Trying to convince you that nothing has value, trying to tell you that an electric car is better than a gas car are we really this stupid? I mean, come on, we are not this stupid. What are you talking about? Better gas mileage with the hybrid. The Prius gets 57. Now, are you just filling it up with gas? How do you get the better gas mileage? Do you switch to electric once in a while, but then do you need to charge the electric? I don't know about the hybrid. That would be a good point, but how often do I need to charge the battery versus just filling up the car with gas? So there's got to be some play in the 57 miles per gallon. But yeah, I mean that there is a benefit, but I don't think there's enough benefits to get me off my gas-powered Camry. Why would I sell it, and why would I take that? I don't see a reason for that. So I don't want to wait for the charge. There's not enough electricity to charge it, and I'm going to charge it every day. And what happens when it gets really, really hot and really, really cold? It was 20 below out for a week. You think my battery's going to last? No fucking way. So there's a lot of downside. And then what happens when I run out of power? I can't open my door. I die. Thanks, but no thanks. I don't see any advantage. Okay, this 57 miles to the gallon would be an advantage, but not sure how to do it. But a very small advantage. Yeah, both systems working together. Okay, so I'm going to have to charge. So not only may I have to fill it up with gas, I'm going to have to go charge it. So now I got to take time to do both. And how long is it going to charge? But as what they're not telling you, as more people, so let's say everybody went electric, you'd be waiting a week to charge your car. There's not enough chargers, and then everybody would be charging it. Now, most people go to the gas stations. There's a gas station on every corner. So you're not really waiting to fill up. And isn't that, we get frustrated when we wait for when every pump is used because the guy's selling it for 10 cents cheaper, and we're waiting for a pump to open up, right? So that's what they're not telling you. And is there enough if we all went electric, is there enough electricity for it? Absolutely not. So those are a little of the secrets they don't want to tell you. And then you're going to need a new battery. What do they need in the battery? Oh yeah, they need silver. There is no more silver. So you need a new battery, and silver hits $1,000 an ounce. How much is that battery going to cost you? 10, 15,000? Are you going to have 10, 15,000 when you don't have any money now for a new battery because the battery is worthless? I love when somebody says, well, the battery will last 20 years. Oh, really? Based on what? You believe what they're telling you. And there's no battery that ever lasts. After 6 months, you're charging your phone every day and your computer every day. So don't give me that shit. Batteries do not hold charge well, especially as you use them. They go down. So anyway, that was interesting. The gas, maybe a keeper. So that's what it is. I think once you understand things, it's more interesting and you can associate and get involved. That's what's so hard about school. The other thing about school and work is areas that you don't want to do. I talk about things we want to talk about. If I started talking about shit we didn't want to talk about, even I'd fall asleep. So when you go to school, all right, there might be a finance class you like or history class you like, but most of the classes are stupid. I took a Keynesian economic class in my undergrad. I didn't know what the guy was talking about. He'd sit there using these words that nobody knew. He wouldn't explain the marginal precocity of this, and he'd draw a chart, and I'd be like, "What the fuck's he talking about?" I couldn't follow him because I didn't know what he was saying. The charts are meaningless. And I remember I did the final in a half hour. It should have taken me 3 hours, and I couldn't answer any of the questions. I didn't care. And he gave me a D in that class, but it's okay. I passed. Then I get to my master's program and I start taking Austrian economics, and I'm getting all A pluses. And I understand everything. As you can see, I understand everything. You don't hear me talk about the Keynesian economics I learned in my undergrad because I don't know what the fuck the guy said. Absolutely waste of a class. And that's the problem. Nobody could have got anything out of that class because it was Keynesian economics. And the way he taught it, it was not taught in English. I don't know what language he was using, but you couldn't follow it. And that's the problem with school, and that's the problem with college, high school, college, is the classes that you have to take that you have no interest in it. Why do I have to take this? I don't give a fuck about Keynesian economics. I know it doesn't work. I don't need to sit through it and learn about charts and graphs that I don't care about, that are meaningless, like electric cars. So this is the problem I see a lot with work and a lot with school. Okay, you give me a job. I mean, I was at Ford. My master's is corporate finance, Austrian economics, and they had me do a manager of cost estimating, which I have no idea. I know what a cost is. I don't know how to estimate it. I'm not an engineer. And it was the most boring job I ever had. And I'm like, why am I here? I interviewed for a financial analyst job. And this was the problem. I didn't, I had no idea. Boring as shit. So you're basically getting a little bit done and walking around to try to fill up your day because it's just too boring. And this is what, again, well, if this is my background, why are you putting me over here? So it's like, I'm Barry Sanders, and you got me playing right tackle. I'm a running back. And so it's a lot of that. That's the problem with working. So for 8 hours a day, it's not even just do my job, go to a meeting, tell the estimators and leave. It's I got to sit here bored out of my mind for 8 hours. Just like school, you're bored out of your mind because these are none of the classes that you want to take because you don't even know what you want in high school or fourth grade or junior high school. So you don't have you have no idea. And then the teachers are usually horrible and they're all union. So they don't know what they're doing. And I'll never forget, I was like in seventh grade and I was in a class and I had to do, I had to write like horoscope things, or the, like, I'm a Pisces, so you had to write the 12 signs, right? And so, a Pisces is this, and an Aries is this, and a Leo is that. And I did all this work, and I got like a D because she thought either she thought I copied it all like it wasn't mine, or I didn't put quotes to show that it's not mine or it is mine, or it was like, well, you just you just copied it. And if I did that today, I would tear her a new asshole, and I would just walk out of her class and saying, fuck off. I put in a lot of hard work into that, and I'm not getting any credit for the hard work. And how did you think I would get the information? Or was it the fact I didn't put brackets to say I'm copying it from this book? Because I'm a Pisces. Well, there's a definition. So what do you want? And at the time, it totally shut me off. So I get like a D, and I spent like a whole weekend missing football or watching football, but doing it. My arm was sore. I mean, it was probably 20 pages, and I am expecting an A because I put in a lot of effort and it made sense. And she gives me a D, and she's lucky I didn't rip her a new asshole, because I wouldn't take that. This is maybe 7th or 8th grade, and I didn't do anything else in her class. I was turned off because I said, what's the point? I'm going to do the work and I'm not going to get the credit for doing the work. Why the fuck should I do the work? And I was stoic, but I didn't know it back in 8th grade. When that happens, you just shut down because there's no point in doing it. Right. I have my friend Alyssa, and she's has trouble with this boyfriend, and so I'm showing her stoic, and I said, if he starts yelling at you or doubting you or doing things, just leave. Don't argue with him. He's just vampiring you. Just get the fuck out of just say, see you later. I don't have time for this shit. And I think more people need to do that, where you get into situations where people are just vampiring you, talking about nothing, not explaining it, and we get upset, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whoever, your kids start with this meaningless chat, and just turn it off. That's what I did with Jenna. She started with this bullshit, and that was it. I'm done. We're done. Goodbye. I'm not going to waste time arguing or discussing. You know me for a long time, and this is what you're going to do? Really? Okay, see you later. I don't need this. It's just bullshit, vampire. And instead of getting upset, you just walk away from it and you turn it off. Boom, the channel's gone. And I think more people need to understand that and do that than sit there and just agree with it, or, a lot in with the girlfriend. Oh, she does this and that. And it's like, turn it off. Goodbye. Just like this girl, I don't know who she was. And let's have a relationship. Who the fuck are you? And then, well, instead of wasting my time, do you like gold? And if you don't, then I've saved a lot of time that I would have spent with you to find out you don't like gold, and that would have ended it anyway. So be careful with all that shit. That's why you got to be upfront. You got to be stoic. You got to talk about I play poker. I bet football. I buy gold and silver. And if they can't comprehend that, and they're too stupid and they want to, I own stocks, you just leave them, because it's you're wasting your time in that type of environment. It's a terrible environment. So don't even go there. That's why it's hard for me to listen to politics, because it's all bullshit. I can't listen to Elon Musk, Trump. I don't know. You turn on a Trump thing on YouTube, and all he does is talk about himself. He keeps saying, well, if I was there wouldn't have been a war. Well, you weren't there, and there is a war, and all you can do is go from here. The stoic person would say, we're in a war, we got to end it. Not, there wouldn't have been a war if I was there. And I just can't take it. And he does it every time. He keeps saying, well, if I was in office, there wouldn't have been a war. fine, but you're not in office and there is a war, and fix the fucking problem. I don't even know why he's president. I don't get why a 78-year-old man is fucking around with this. Was he got a hero complex? Look at me, I solved it. You're not going to solve anything. The inflation's not going to go away. The only hope is to go on a gold-backed currency, which you don't have any gold for. You're shipping gold in is just simply to pay off the derivatives. That's all that is. You got Elon Musk running around. Now, the only thing he's got going is he's actually trying to run it like a business, but I don't see any change because you've got to change the whole government. You've got to get rid of it all. You got to get rid of the lobbyists. You got to get rid of all the problems, and I don't see him doing any of that. I'm trying to balance the budget, which you can't do. Excuse me. Anyway, we're at our 2-hour mark. It just flies by. Anything else? Questions, comments? Let's check our gold as we wrap it up. Let me see if there's any other YouTubes I want to share with you. There we go. Gold's up to 29.46. So you can see the bullshit, 29.56 at 9.45, just before the U.S. does their derivative at 9.45, knocking it down to 29.36. But now it's back to 29.46. So whoever just did this derivative, this option, at 9.45 just lost their ass because they're betting that the price goes down from 29.35, and now it's at the 29.46. Silver again, 32.34. Why is it down 13 cents? Because of derivatives. Nobody's selling an ounce of silver, and this is the problem. So, soon we'll see $3,000 gold. How anybody's doing derivatives but nobody's selling an ounce of gold and nobody's selling an ounce of silver. So realize that. Anything in like videos? I put this new thumbnail up. This is a $30 million thing at the Win about 10 years ago. This was at the Win. And I happened to be going around and did you see the tulips? And I said, no. And then, so this is the tulip. It was a display. They said it's $35 million. Some sculpture did it. So I'm using this instead of Matt, because you see Andy Scheckman and he's got these little bars behind it. And, I'm seeing like, here's a chart and here's Marcus Aurelius and, Egon's got his little gold thing. And so I'm saying, well, fuck it. They're all doing that. Let me do it. So I'm going to either have this or some Caesar's Palace stuff on there. And I think it's pretty. I'm trying to set it as my normal thumbprint, but I don't know how to do that yet. Anyway, I don't see. Let's see if we can leave with a stoic. All right, let's leave with a stoic.
If someone does these 8 things for you, don't take them for granted, because real ones are rare. 1. They defend you when you're not around. Loyalty is proven in rooms where you're absent. 2. They hold you accountable. A real one doesn't just hype you up. They tell you when you're wrong. 3. They respect your time. If they don't waste it, they value you. 4. They celebrate your success. Fake people get jealous. Real ones get proud. 5. They listen without waiting to talk. Genuine people hear you, not just wait for their turn to speak. 6. They keep your secrets. If you can trust them with your worst, they deserve your best. 7. They tell you hard truths. Flattery is easy. Honesty takes courage. 8. They check on you even when you're quiet. The real ones notice when you disappear.
At Clarkson Eye Care,
So
we know
I do
every
that. That's what I am. I didn't hear from Melissa for a while, or I don't hear from Daria. Like when I used to lose Daria for 4 or 5 days, but I was being stoic. I'm like, where are you? Are you okay? And a lot of it is she'll say, oh, I was sick, but she doesn't tell me she's sick until then she starts feeling better. And then she says, oh, I was sick. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me you were sick before? So that's what I am. I check in, make sure everybody's okay. And I'm very honest about everything. And I don't judge people. They're whatever you want to smoke, smoke. Fine. You want to drink, drink. That's fine. I'll help you if you want to quit. I'll talk to you about gold and silver to get out of the stock market to help you. I will do that. That's what I do. So I do help, and I'm very honest. So at least you know when I'm telling you stuff, you know it's honest and you know it's right. And I try to explain it so you go, that makes sense. Anyway, that's my stoic point of the day. Have a good day, everybody. 2 hours, good time. Any other questions or comments? Pat, David, Prophet, thanks for coming by. I appreciate the comments. I like the comments because it lets us engage. So it's almost like I have a guest, right? And the guest is asking me questions, sort of like Mark McGuire when the bald guy asks him questions and then he answers that. I like that. I don't care about the time. If it's something worth talking, you've seen me go 3 hours last few days. If it makes sense, you do it. It's fine. Now I'm kind of a little bit like, I think I've covered everything, what I wanted to in my title. So I think that's good. And I think I got to start doing some shorts. I got to figure out how to do that, where I just do a minute or two of some highlights, like inflation is this, and just do that. So I think I'm going to start doing that. Anyway. Excuse me. Anyway, have a great day. Watch gold and silver go up. It will. Silver is being held down by JP Morgan and price fixed in Comex, but the delivery's gone. There is no more supply. They're back 25,000 ounces, which is how are you going to get your silver? So why are we using Comex to get silver? Why are we using Comex to price fix? That's illegal. We're in a Constitution limited republic. We're not in a communist country. The market is supposed to set the prices, not the government, JP Morgan. And don't forget, JP Morgan runs the government, not the other way around. All right, everybody, have a good day. I am off to the pool shortly, and we'll see what else. All right, so take care. Have a nice day. www.teaserking.com. If you want to email me, I will certainly email you back. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good night.